Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Jordan Fisher.
I'm Tim and Tapman.
I'm Cypher PK, and this is the May Contain
Action podcast.
Available on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, and more.
Welcome, everyone, to the May Contain Action podcast, where your two favorite people talk about content, pop culture, gaming with their favorite people. Support for the May Contain Action podcast is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in below belt grooming. Shave your balls, everybody. I am host number one, Paul, aka ActionJaxon, well-established and highly decorated Twitch streamer. My co-host, host number two, future Hall of Famer and relief pitcher. Relief?
Yeah.
Relief?
Yes, you said it correctly.
Both of those. For the Twins, Trevor May, everybody.
Hey guys, what's up? It's me, it's Trevor.
Hey, it's Trevor. Look at
Future
that.
Hall of Famer, baseball Hall of Famer, that is.
Yeah,
not
specifically
Twitch.
baseball.
Not Twitch.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no shot. Not with dozens of viewers. But that doesn't matter because our guest has far more than dozens. Today we have a one-of-a-kind guest. He's put up almost 4,800 YouTube videos. That's a lot of videos.
Real? That's a real number?
That's a real number. I looked that up today.
God, I'm old.
Yeah.
I've been doing this too long.
Curates the Drop Frames podcast, obvious competitor to ours. One of the top video game pods in the world, and is one of Twitch's premier variety streamers. ItMeJP is here, everybody.
Thank you for having me.
dug in a lot.
Excited to be here.
There's a lot of clapping in the post.
Oh,
Nice.
there's so much clapping in post. We're doing it
Nice.
from a live studio audience.
Do a lot from post.
In post. JP, welcome.
Yeah, glad to be here. It's strange times, but at least we can still talk to each other on the internet.
Yes, we can.
That'll always be a constant, it seems.
We can at least do that. And before we get started, I really want to say I appreciate you being here, obviously, but also I don't appreciate you upstaging my podcast voice. I feel like your podcast voice is outstanding. It makes me nauseous.
Great.
Oh, do I have a pod? I
No, you
have
just-
never realized that I have a podcast voice, but I guess I do have a podcast
I
voice.
think you're just so professional that it's just you. You're normal. that's you now. You know what I mean?
maybe.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if
sound
this
great.
helps or hurts, but about 20 minutes ago, I was lying in a bath really tired. So I guess maybe I do have like a full-on podcast voice where I could just turn it on and turn it off.
Maybe.
There's a couple things to unpack there. One, you took a bath? I don't know.
Yeah, man. Mid-afternoon baths, they're a luxury that I can afford.
Wow.
And I'm really happy to do them as often as possible. I'm usually streaming right now. So I don't get the chance, but I took I guess a rare day off, so to speak.
Wow.
So yeah.
You need them. You need them. I got a day off from the day job today out of nowhere. They just told us yesterday, like, hey, tomorrow, don't come in. We're like, wow, this is great.
Really?
Can't wait to start flying all over the country in 4 days. It's gonna be awesome. So
Oof.
yeah,
That's gonna
so
suck.
we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that'll be.
Everyone crossing your fingers. I know, guys. Everyone's just like, man, I really hope it's okay.
Well, what I'm hoping they do is start selling those like VR tickets where they just sell like a 360 cam and I can like buy a ticket for like $10 and be like,
There's just
Be
like
somewhere.
base.
Pay someone to go somewhere for you.
there's just
Exactly.
10,000 tripods with webcams on them.
that sounds great. I don't want to, I can watch you from my bathtub if I'd
They
like.
have a handful of those already on YouTube.
They do?
As someone that invests in VR equipment, I've taken a handful of tours across the world. They're
Oh,
not
wow.
bad.
Really? Do you feel like that's enough? Like you don't have to leave your house?
I mean, I don't leave my house to begin with. I'm kind of a shut-in. But it is the type of thing where seeing the places in VR makes me more interested to go there. It doesn't necessarily replace the feeling of being there. It's more of like whets my appetite to go, but
I
not
see.
necessarily fills the void, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I wouldn't expect a different answer, but I would just like maybe. He's
Yeah.
like, actually, dude, saw the Wall of China VR. I need to see it real life.
I'm over here like, please tell me it's enough. So it's just like, hey, we don't have to go anywhere ever again.
It's cool as hell.
Stop asking.
But it's not the real thing for sure.
Dang it. All right, well, and now she's going to start hitting me with those just to whet my appetite. So I'll actually want to go.
Exactly.
So this went the opposite way of where I wanted to go.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay. Whatever. You win some, you lose some.
Well, JP, we want to kind of get to know you, obviously, as we do all of our guests, with some hard-hitting, deep-cutting, life-altering questions.
Okay.
Our first one's going to be, where'd your name come from? JP, where'd you get your name, JP? I mean, I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory, but
Sure.
where'd it come from, and what was it before you landed on JP? Like the Xbox Live was like.
So I stumbled upon ItMeJP as just being a 222 letter or a 222 name, 2-letter name, I guess.
Okay.
And I used that back in the IRC days, playing WoW and playing Quake 3 when I was younger. Before that, and I think my PlayStation ID, I think you can actually change them now, but for a long, long time, you actually couldn't change your PSN. So it's actually Moogle _
Moogle,
because I'm a pretty big Final Fantasy fan, and
okay.
so
Is that
that
what
was
it's from.
yeah, that's where Moogle came from, or that's where my handle came from. Back in the Quake days, it was Moogle, and then before that, the first ever username I had on the internet. I used to eat a lot of Altoids back in the day before I learned they were terrible for your teeth. And we're talking like a can, like a normal sized can in like a day, maybe two. Like it was a bad
in high
habit.
school, you're just firing them in your mouth.
Yeah, all day,
Okay.
every day.
Okay.
It was a bad habit. So before that, my username in the Quake days was Toity, which was a really bad one.
Toity.
Yeah, and then of course, I had I think everyone has an angel name, some sort of version or angel when you're first starting out in the gaming world. You think of like the coolest names possible. So I was Angelus back in the StarCraft days. I think there was there's a handful of random names in there. I used to smurf a lot in Quake, so I would kind of just change my name on a whim. But they were never anything meaningful. But yeah, the one and then settling on JP, that is my name is John Paul, so it's just my initials. That's what I've gone by my entire life.
Perfect. I like the Paul in there. That's nice.
Yeah,
nice little touch there for me. So you probably gave the most comprehensive response to that question ever. That was it's like you printed them out beforehand. We're like, well, I had this one from 2000 to 2007, and then I had this one.
I will probably talk your ear off unless you stop me. Just forewarning. So
no, that's I mean, as you know, the point of a podcast. So that's perfect.
Yeah,
it's true. Yeah, I'm in the right business without a doubt.
That's Angelus.
Yeah,
I love that.
Funny side note.
I love Buffy show. I love Buffy. That Angelus
that was some Buffy fan.
What's his name? God, what is that actor's name? Yeah, the Angel guy.
The guy who plays Angel.
He was in that show Bones too. I can't think of his name.
Yeah. Oh, I know who you're talking about. That yeah.
So first, my wife's favorite show of all time is Buffy.
Really?
She would love that answer. Secondly,
huge nerd.
There's actually a streamer named Angelus.
Really?
That plays MLB The Show. She's an ex-Division I softball player that plays MLB The Show, and she's part of my stream team. So that's small world. She chose that name as her brand. So now you can't have it. I'll defend Angelus with my words.
I won't fight you for it. She can have it.
He's like, okay, whatever. Yeah. I'm JP now. We've established this. Awesome. That was a very comprehensive answer. Someone who had the shortest answer, do you think, to that question? They're like, it's my name. They're like, did you have like an AIM answer? They're like, no.
It was probably someone from the mob. One of the mob members were probably like, that's just my name.
Classified's like, duh, my name's
Classified. Man, AIM.
Classify, yeah.
I had the greatest AIM name now that you brought that up. So I had two names on AOL Instant Messenger. Yeah. I had the name I Hate AIM Ha and I Hate AIM He. And those were the greatest names of all time, in my opinion, for AOL Instant Messenger.
So clever and snarky.
100%. Yeah. I was such a just rebelling youth. Just all the time rebelling at all times.
Oh yeah. I think I made one that was like simple 101, and I was like, look how simple this name is. Look how simple this is.
I miss
They didn't even
man.
say simple like 101.
We're all just trying to feel our way through the internet and like what our virtual selves look like. So they're like,
100%. Making
I'm
those
super
away
clever.
messages that were all emo and trying to get, you know how it is.
One time I made an away message, whatever, like can't talk right now, doing my taxes, and everyone was like, "Why you're doing taxes? You're only 14."
Nice. You'd come back the next day to see how many away messages you got and all that. It was fun times, man.
Got a lot of clout.
Oh God, text messages before text messages, really.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we had text back then, but it just wasn't as big. You know, T9
You
was
didn't
annoying.
text as
Anyway,
much back then, yeah.
and you had to pay for each one of them. I think that was the big thing.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Someone got that bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, 90% of our viewership used to have to pay for text messages.
Text.
They don't know how lucky they'd have it.
Remember back when you had to pay for text messages, but data was free? That was or like unlimited. Data was unlimited, but like you had to pay per text.
Yeah, but
And they were like, hold on a second.
Awful.
We're idiots. Let's switch it around. Anyway.
Anyway, full circle.
No, yeah, full circle. Hit him with it, Trev.
Well, we have a question we ask everybody. Basically, I feel like, and we've proven that a lot of people don't have the same experience as me, but I'm hoping you did.
Okay.
So
Really
I have
explain
no
each
idea
one,
where
Trev.
this is going.
I have a
explain
lot
it.
of nostalgia attached to fast food and going to play video games. Like they kind of just went hand in hand, especially when I like got my car. So all
Sure.
my buddies growing up, we all went and played it. Anyone who's listened to the podcast knows this story 30 million times, but he doesn't, so I'm telling him again. We had a LAN center in my neighbor's house. Basically, his dad built computers in like from the late 90s until now. He still builds PCs. So they had a bunch of PCs there. So growing up, we had 4 or 5 PC stalls. The neighbor kids would come over and we'd play LAN games together. But when I got my car, I was the oldest. We would just go to Taco Bell, and for 2 or 3 summers, we did this every night for like months, where we just go and then I play WoW till 5 a.m. So mine is Taco Bell. So what is your favorite fast food place? Basically, the longest version of the question I possibly could give. What's your favorite fast food?
I'll give a short answer. I'll get right to the point with the answer this time and maybe some exposition afterwards.
Okay.
My favorite fast food, without question, is Whataburger.
Okay.
Whoa!
I can't get it anymore, though. So I was born and raised in Texas. I think most Texans kind of put Whataburger up on a pedestal.
It's like you have to, though. It's
I
like
kind of have to, yeah. It's you know, I was raised on it, so to speak. But living up here, I live in St. Louis now. I moved up here to live with my fiance. She's from here, but we don't have a Whataburger. And so the only time I can get Whataburger now is when I go home for Christmas, like once a year. And it is without question the first place I go as soon as we leave the airport. I'm going straight to Whataburger every time.
Wow.
It cannot be beaten. I've had burgers from pretty much everywhere, fast food wise, across the nation, and nothing compares for me.
Are you a patty melt guy?
No, I'm just a double meat, double cheese. Keep it simple. Nothing else. No ketchup. I ask them to keep that off. No bacon or anything. Just double meat, double cheese, plain and dry.
Wow.
That is
Okay. That's
dedication.
interesting because the last time someone said a Whataburger, I believe it was Sancho West, and he said like basically the same thing. He was like, I don't want anything on it. Just give me the meat and like the bun, basically. And I was like, what?
I don't know what it is. I know that they
no
like
bacon? Like,
no, the bacon adds like a like I like bacon first off, but the bacon for whatever reason adds like a chew and a texture to it that sometimes I'd get, that was like the variable every once in a while, maybe like every other week or something.
Yeah, that's how you switch it up.
Yeah, but for me it's something about like the butter grilled buns that they have there and whatever the cheese is that they use. I don't know why I don't know if it's the consistency of the cheese, the amount of cheese or what, but you always get like that. I feel you always get like that perfect bite with Whataburger.
Wow. I can't believe that you're going to look me straight in the Discord username and tell me Five Guys isn't better. I just
Five Guys is good, but I think Trevor kind of hit nostalgia plays into that. Like, I have stories upon stories about different Whataburger events that have occurred throughout my life that I think will always kind of trump a Five Guys burger in that sense.
I think the best way to know the answer to this question for every guest that we have in the future, if you're listening to this episode as research for when you're on the show,
yeah, they all do. They all research.
This is a filter you need to put your answer through. If you were gone from a place for a long time and you went back there, how quickly would you go to a place? And so when you answered it like that, Taco Bell has a unique experience, but there's another place called Taco Time that's only Northwest. It's like super, local, they're fresher ingredients. It's just Taco Bell just up a notch. And because I live 2 lives effectively, and I fly to Minnesota and I'm there for 6 or 7 months, and then I fly home and I'm home for 5 months. When I fly home in October, whenever that is, I land. We have a friend that lives in our house when we're gone. She picks us up in the airport and we go straight to Taco Time when we've done it the last 5-6 off seasons.
Wow.
And so now that's my, I'm going to go and then I'm going to be at my home studio. So I bring the Taco Time into my home studio. I'm like, wow, I'm home. Like
I definitely have like a local favorite. So the second place, I have 2 meals, Whataburger right off the airport. And then depending on when I land that day, if it's like a morning thing, that's lunch, right? Dinner is a place called Las Palapas, which is like fast food Tex-Mex there in San Antonio. And they serve 24-hour breakfast tacos. They are, without a doubt, that was the thing that I would go and get because they're open 24 hours. I'd go at midnight or maybe even later. Great drunken food. Line wrapped around the building no matter what time you're going there. That's probably like the one thing that I actually can't get. Like you can get a decent burger kind of anywhere in the US. Yeah. You can only get good Tex-Mex in San Antonio, in my opinion. In South Texas, I should say. Yeah. Nothing compares for me.
That's a good point. When I was in, Dallas is not South, obviously.
Sure.
But I will say I had the best Tex-Mex of my life in Dallas. It was.
Do you remember where it was from?
I don't remember the name of it, but I remember I can see it in my eyes.
Was it a chain or was it like a hole in the wall?
It looked too hole in the wallish to be a chain. It was very much like they had like Aztec-y type of architecture and like pottery and stuff, and it was like kind of underneath an overhang or overpass, and it was a sit down. Yeah, you could sit down.
Huh. Okay, that might have just been a local joint,
dude. It was like 4 things in my taco. It was like the actual burrito or whatever, the corn tortilla, the meat. I think a couple of like cubed onions and some cilantro, and I was like, "This isn't going to be enough." It was enough. It was
tried and true, man. They know what they're doing.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Texas is unbelievable for Tex-Mex.
I love Tex-Mex so much.
God, I just want tacos so bad.
I don't have like Taco Bell. I growing up in San Antonio, I'd never actually had Taco Bell till I moved up here 2 years ago. That was the first time I ever had it, and I'm 33, really? So I went 30 years without it.
And how disappointing was it?
Oh, it's horrible. It's like I say it now because it's the only thing I can do, but like it's all right. Apparently this was a famous comedian's joke, but I had it presented to me like a month ago. That Taco Bell's entire menu is 90 different ways, including a new one almost every other month, to put a tortilla, beans, and rice in some sort of amalgamation. And that's what Taco Bell's menu is. And it's like, it's true. It's 100% true.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
The most groundbreaking thing they did, in my opinion, 2 things. One, the chalupa changed the game, I feel like, for tacos. When they like fried the shell of a taco, I was like, that's outstanding. You're innovators. Yeah. And then when they made the chicken chalupa and the tortilla was a piece of fried chicken. It was like a bent piece of chicken.
Yeah.
So just the chicken patty, it's disgusting. That's just
running out of ideas.
But again, like I haven't had Taco Bell in 6 months, but like I will drink a 2-gallon jug of Baja Blast in one sitting
Yeah, it's dangerous.
100%.
Just put a straw in it.
It's
100%.
edible food is the best
It's
way
edible.
to talk about it.
Yeah, it's edible food.
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not like mind blowing.
No, but it is good.
It's food.
And I just, that smell and, my warrior running around.
Oh, wow.
It's all
Actually,
it's true.
Yeah. Not to belabor this question, but I feel like I have an epiphany. I'm realizing that I think nostalgia-wise, Trevor, thank you for your explanation of the question, because I think nostalgia-wise, I actually have more nostalgia with Tim Hortons, which I didn't think would be the thing. Waking up at 4 a.m., or not waking up, staying up till 4 a.m., getting the fresh donuts and a hot chocolate was my jam. I could eat their crullers.
Man, fresh donuts are good.
Oh my gosh!
You guys know what a Shipley's is?
No.
Oh, what?
Shipley's is I think they're South Texas. They make fresh donuts every morning. They also make a kolache, which I think is Polish. I'm not sure where it comes from, but it's basically just a pig in a blanket, and they would put like jalapeno cheese in it, and the dough was kind of like sweet, almost donut consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, crush like 12 of those before school.
12 of them.
It was a bad time. Yeah, they are super addicting.
These popping Altoids and these things just going to town.
Oh yeah, man, they were good.
Kolaches and Altoids.
Yeah, my metabolism didn't mind back then, but if I did that today, I wouldn't be able to walk. So
you did have the freshest breath, though.
Yeah, well, I was eating so many kolaches, I just had to keep the breath.
Had to keep the Altoids going.
Yeah,
outstanding.
Great times.
So again, in an effort to getting to know you more about you, JP, we wanted to know a little bit about who you were beforehand. You kind of touched on that a little bit with your kolaches and Altoids. But what did you do before you went full time into streaming, content creation, YouTube video making? What was your job before all of this happened? And when did you decide to take it full time?
Sure. So this is it's an interesting question for me because my full-time job before I started doing all this was being in school. This is my first and only full-time job.
Wow.
I started, it's unfair maybe a little bit to say that. I started at MLG back in the day.
Okay, sure.
I was in the StarCraft community and before that, the World of Warcraft community. And so I started a website called GotFrag. It was completely volunteer basis, but they were kind of the go-to and in a lot of people's minds still were the go-to site. They don't exist anymore because MLG bought them, but MLG bought GotFrag. I was a volunteer. The people that actually made money from that, 3 or 4 people, went on to work at MLG. And eventually, over the course of, I don't know, a year or two, when StarCraft 2 came out, they needed shoutcasters and host. And because I was so ingrained in kind of the day-to-day grunt work there, when I say grunt work, I was basically posting Counter-Strike 1.6 scores from around the world at, middle of the night, 3 or 4 a.m. Kind of had the graveyard shift. I was in the back end typing those scores in so that some guy in Russia could have the scores, right? So they always looked at that and saw that I was kind of a hard worker because I took pride in it and whatnot. And eventually that led to me becoming a shoutcaster and host for MLG for their StarCraft 2 circuit. Awesome. That was 2011 or so. And I started a podcast back then called State of the Game, which was kind of my first big podcast. Nice. Day 9 was on it. A couple other big StarCraft 2 casters. I casted BlizzCon. That was kind of like the big thing that I did at the height, I guess I could say.
That's amazing. What expansion did you start on?
I started with the bare bones. The beta is kind of where all the stuff started.
Holy crap!
Yeah, so I got in at the ground level, so to speak. But yeah, that all kind of, it was the type of thing where I had to learn as you were doing. Podcasting was just starting to take off then, and you kind of just had to figure things out. Discord didn't work. We used, I think back then we were just using Skype. It was audio only. Video stuff didn't really come until like 2014 or 2013-ish. Yeah. But yeah, worked as a full-time producer and show host at MLG was my title. And then they were paying for my apartment in Galveston, Texas, where we kind of had this small little studio.
Mhm.
And essentially the studio got shelved, and they said, we're happy to keep you on payroll and whatnot, but you got to move to New York. So I grew up in Texas my entire life. Going to New York was a fun experience. They put me up there for about a month to see if I was going to like it. And I hated it. I hated everything about it, man.
New York City, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I enjoy going to New York City. I would hate living in New York City. I hate living in New York City.
Yeah.
I went from a 3,000 square foot house my entire life to effectively a closet with a bathroom in it. Right. I couldn't stand it. So I ended up. They kind of gave me the ultimatum, and I ended up leaving. And that's when I started streaming. I guess you could say that's when I started streaming full time, but I was streaming the entire time I was at MLG, and I was partnered. I think I was one of the first 100 partners on Twitch. So that was I want to say my partnership started in like February of 2010. Wow. Maybe 2011. It was early, but the years kind of blend together. So yeah, I've been doing this for a while.
Goodness gracious. That was pre-Twitch, right? You Justin TV?
Yeah, that was the Justin TV days is kind of when I started streaming. I came over when Day 9 did. He was doing his show and I was doing my podcast. And then they came to both of us with the idea of like, hey, we're going to start doing this thing called subscribers. How do you feel about that? Great, let's do it. Money, and then
sure.
we both put our VODs in sub only. And to date, we are two of the only streamers that I can think of off the top of my head that have like a VOD sub wall in order to view it, which
wild.
In today's day and age, that's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. So I still get knocked on that almost every single broadcast, but it's kind of how the channels survived and functioned as a business for this long. Yeah. So it's too tough to change it.
It's probably smart because like in a way, obviously you stream live, you can catch it then for sure. Right. And then you post highlights of it on YouTube and people can watch it there, or they could just watch the entire VOD on Twitch for free with no ads or anything. You don't get paid, but they get to see all of it. Yeah. I put it under a sub wall for like a day and half my chat was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
I was like, sorry.
Longtime viewers understand because there's a trust system in the sense that we always post the VODs, for a show that we do, Drop Frames, for example, it's always posted 24 hours after the fact, no matter what, it's on YouTube. So people that aren't subs, they know that it's going to be there. Yeah. But when you have someone who's brand new to the show and they join the channel like, oh, I want to watch this episode, so-and-so is on. And then they, I have to sub to watch this. And that kind of starts that whole conversation. So we've gotten pretty good at having that conversation, I guess, over the years.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wait, so I'm upset. JP, what's going on, man? I can't watch your video. What the shit is this?
So the conversation's now turned into a mod that then pings the bot that we have a stated message.
Get him.
That is message.
Get him, bot. Oh, yeah.
Because at some point it's like, I say the same thing 10 times in a stream or a bot just kind of handles it and I don't bring it up on the channel. So
the conversation looks like me telling a mod to cue the bot to tell the person.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I think a great day of a stream would be going through, because I'm sure yours is insane, but like just going through all your commands that you have that are on and off and just trying to remember what they were for.
We have a bunch of like time sensitive commands. You're exactly right. Where it's like, a game is coming out or a game came out or a podcast happened with so-and-so guest. And it's just like ! Linkin Park. What? Like, why do I have that command? And so it'll tell someone about what, the thing that was going on with Linkin Park at the time. That one was fairly recent. We'll probably forget about that one. We had Mike Shinoda on the show this past week. So,
yeah. Holy crap. All right. Honestly, dude, you didn't have to flex on us like that. Jeez.
It's not a flex. It was just,
goodness.
It was a fun time.
He's
our biggest guest,
Barack Obama.
Not to sound like, I don't want to be like, oh, we just had, Mike Shinoda on, just hang out. He's the biggest guest we've had on. It was a fun show.
That's Paul just figured I was gonna be like, we got Barack next week. I don't know if you heard, but his Twitter got hacked.
Funny enough, my fiance
is
is actually hung out and worked with Michelle Obama before. So
See, you couldn't
Now,
just
that's
let
pretty
it.
cool.
You couldn't just let us have it.
I had to get that one in there.
You couldn't let us have our
I had
fake
to humble
thing, dude.
brag about my fiance. You know, I can't miss that opportunity.
That is pretty cool.
That's actually super freaking sick.
It's just hilarious. It's hilarious to hear from all the guests like what their things that they have to make commands are like for, like, because I have very specific things that I get asked all the time, as you can imagine, about baseball and sport and specific players, and so we have all kinds of stuff. Like everyone's like, "How's hard? What's the hardest you ever thrown?" And I'm like, exclamation point 100. Look at the clip, like everything.
Yeah,
all I have. I have all
I'm
these.
looking at the list right now since you brought it up.
Yeah.
I didn't even know some of these existed. So we have exclamation point 4 guys, which is a quote from someone on the show saying how good it felt being in the middle of 4 guys. I don't know. We have
4 guys.
exclamation point baby, which is Dan's Gaming, a popular variety streamer, saying a baby's skin is always fresh and new. I guess he said that somewhere. Yeah, there's a lot of weird ones. Some of them are just like links to random clips.
I had to go through mine. I never even thought to go through those.
Yeah, we got to make it a video, dude.
Oh, apparently my mod says he went through.
PewDiePie, dude. Everything can be video, man.
That's true.
Oh yeah, everything's video.
That's the way to content create right there.
Everything's a video.
Yeah, smart.
Tattooed on your forehead. All right.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Since we've established that you've been doing this for, I'm trying to think if anyone has more experience of our guests. Maybe
no, Justin TV. No, I don't think anyone's been on Justin TV.
Well, I mean, but Cypher's been YouTubing for 10 years.
True.
But in terms of like being in the Twitch game, yeah, no one's even close. So we like to try to we got a lot of listeners that are trying to become streamers themselves or want to understand, like, you know, I think that since the old Fortnite blow up and just the mainstreamness of how that worked, and people kind of flocking to Twitch and viewership growing like crazy in Corona, a lot of people are trying it out. Right. We hope they can learn something, or at least get some you know, good information about, you know, what to do when you start, because, you know, there's a lot of little mistakes you can avoid that I wish I would have known I started. So my question for you is, what is one thing you wish you would have known when you started? Like one thing that you could have saved you a lot of grief moving forward as you progress through this whole life as a content creator.
So before I answer, what is the normal response? A long sigh and then a little pause and then they give the answer? Is that how most?
Yeah, basically nailed it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
They go, oh man.
Okay. Ask the end of the question again. I'll do it appropriately. I just wanted to see how it goes.
All right. So what's one thing you wish you would have known when you started? Like, what's one tip you would give to someone starting out?
Man.
Man.
I mean, I think I come from a pretty privileged point of streaming where, like, I came into it and was already at, like, the first stream I had, because I was so ingrained in the MLG world, I was at 1,000 viewers, right? So like I've always been in that realm of success just because of other stuff that I've done. And so I always feel a little bit insincere in answering this question. But with all that said, I have learned that, like, there's an ebb and flow to streaming. And some days and some weeks and sometimes some months are going to be real bad. But the thing of that is, when there's bad times, there's also good times, right? And so no matter what, kind of like always doing what you need to do to stream and have a schedule and, you know, all the basic stuff. There will always be a uptake or a positive time in kind of streaming. Whether you're streaming to one person, 5 people, 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people, there will always be that negative moment or negative stream where something doesn't go the way you expected it to. But the nice thing is, the next day, you know, it could be a positive moment. It can be a positive time. And so, like, trying to keep your own mental health in a neutral state is probably one of the best things you can try to focus on as a streamer. Because the second that starts to affect you, it bleeds into the broadcast, and viewers can pick up on that shit real quick.
Yeah.
And you don't want that to become the focus of the stream. I think most successful streams have very little to do with how the broadcaster's feeling and more about like the broadcaster's having fun. I want to have fun because this guy's having fun or this person's having fun, right?
Yeah.
And so like trying to focus on that stuff is best as you can is always been something that I've kind of propelled forward to, and something that I see in most successful streamers.
That's great. That's an answer that we haven't quite gotten. Is essentially just, I mean, what you're saying is just keep even keel. Like, I know that there's
learn to be even keel. It's obvious it's harder said or easier said than done a lot of times.
Take the good with the bad for sure.
Like I've actually think I've had that same kind of realization, just maybe in a different phrase, a little bit differently in my head, and just it's almost because I try to apply it just because I've been doing baseball for so long. Like I went through this process somewhat in that in order to be successful at that, you have to like identify what you believe your job is and then figure out what the best way for you to do your job is consistently. And then when that happens, you kind of get like, you take result because we're very results oriented, as you can imagine. So like when you pitch poorly or whatever, sometimes you just get beat because you're competing. So you got to realize if it's you doing your job or not, instead of like, did I win or not? Like that's kind of, so what I say in that same vein, like, be like, what do I do? What are people getting when I'm streaming, and making sure that I'm focused on giving that, providing that value, that specific value, so that the game itself or the circumstances themselves can change, but I'm still focused on providing value for my viewers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's like, having that mindset makes it much easier to like stay even, because what you're trying to do is you have full control over at any time, whether or not it's good, bad, or indifferent. And as Paul and I know, we're playing Tarkov right now, so that roller coaster is really high and really low.
The last big game that I took like pretty serious in a competitive mindset was Overwatch. In season 1, I was pushing for top 500 and I got it kind of on the final day, but those streams were bad. Like my channel always looks back. Longtime viewers always kind of bring up those streams as being a different me. They call that persona PJ now. That's my alter ego, my evil alter ego.
Yikes!
So
those initials. It's funny.
My name's PJ.
I've now, whenever I play Overwatch, I actually turn the camera grayscale, and so that's how like chat knows when PJ's playing, and I don't answer to JP or anything like that.
You don't answer anymore.
Yeah, dude. I started dating my fiance when I was playing Overwatch, and she tuned into those streams and was like, "Are you okay? Like, you seem really upset. Can I help?" And it's like, just give me like an hour after I finish stream, I'll be fine. I'll cool off.
Oh my gosh, so true.
Yeah.
The level to which I can rage on Tarkov but still keep coming back is surprising even to me.
Yeah.
And especially with Overwatch, you obviously mentioned playing that.
Yeah.
I feel like my only real barometer for that was watching Tim play, Tim the Tatman.
Yep.
And because I didn't really play it that much on stream. I wasn't particularly great at it. Didn't feel like learning the metas, whatever. But he achieved like a level of rage I've never seen before.
Oh, yeah.
But people loved it. They thought it was great. So I feel like you either have to like full lean into the rage or like full lean into the fun. But if you're known for being fun and then you're getting upset all the time, people are like, what's going on? Like, what? This isn't what I signed up for.
It depends on how you get upset.
Exactly. It depends on what your type of rage is. My rage, the way that I got it out was on chat. Tim just got angry at himself a lot of the times, right?
That's true, yeah.
And he would take it out on maybe every once in a while on chat, but like mine was focused purely on chat. And of course, like people goad you on, right? Like they'll join chat and be like, "Oh, look at this fucking noob," or something like that. Yeah. And when you're seeing red, man, you read that and you're just like, "All right, well, let's tee off on this guy. Like he just popped up."
I'm gonna ban you. You're not here anymore, and I'm still gonna yell at you.
Yeah, exactly.
You
So,
ban them so they can't talk, and then you rip them apart. Yeah.
it was bad time for sure.
It's bad.
I still actually have the reason that this isn't fresh in my mind is I actually got pinged from GoDaddy yesterday. Back in the Overwatch days, Tim and I used to play every once in a while. We didn't really play that often together, but in the early days we played a decent amount. And when he kind of drifted off, I got the URL timsforgottenfriend.com. And so that redirects to my channel page to this day after 5 or 6 years.
No,
so funny.
Forgotten friend.
It's either friends or friend. Let me see. Tim's. It is. Oh, it's friends. Plural. So there you go. Yeah.
Oh, I should have got that URL. Damn it.
Yep.
Missed opportunity. That's I really like that perspective, honestly, though, on the tip that you would give, because that's people are like, I always say, like, stream consistently, have a regular schedule, whatever, but like that doesn't tell you how to handle it emotionally.
Yeah, I think not to get too heavy, but I think mental health in the streaming world is eventually going to have like its moment, and it kind of already has more recently. But I think it's going to become a huge thing and become more apparent how important that is. And I think it is kind of in general right now with society and everyone being a little bit more open. But I've started therapy a year ago, and it's been like one of the best things that I've ever done.
That's what I've heard. I love that.
It's a hell of a thing. And it's just like, for me, it's just like going to work. I call someone on Skype and talk to them for an hour. I do that every day anyways. So.
Honest question. Did you find that person through the internet?
So I found that person through my fiance, who found that person through the internet.
Okay. Well, okay. Awesome. I'm gonna tell my wife to find me somebody through that. I got it.
Yeah. I to be honest, I've actually connected without saying names, but I've connected like 10, 15 streamers to this person. They're very well versed of the streamer world now because of kind of their client base for sure. So it's a hell of a thing.
That's awesome. I mean, that's freaking. I'm glad that is becoming a resource for more and more people, because I've heard amazing things. Obviously, I travel all the time, but it's something that at least the last 6 months I've really wanted to like find the right person.
It's great. I think a lot of people just, they see therapy and they think like, oh, you're going to cry to someone about your problems. It's like, no, this person's like a life coach, right? Like I joined that thing. I joined those sessions and say, hey, I want to not feel this way about this thing every single time it happens. Let's work through it. And that's exactly what we do. So that I can like get through that stuff without having a anxious breakdown or getting super upset over something super minor, right? They give perspective that I think a lot of times you just don't get from, bantering with a friend or something like that.
Yeah. People aren't equipped to help you that. Like
exactly.
There's professionals that are just really well equipped to help you with all those different things.
100%. Yeah. It's good stuff.
I love that. Awesome.
Well, speaking of people you like to play with, formerly Tim, apparently, RIP to that relationship.
Once upon a time, sure. Yeah.
Once upon a time. What is your favorite game to play currently, and what's your favorite game to make content with?
Favorite game to play currently?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. It's a small child.
Got to guess. Being a variety streamer is weird on Twitch. Like there's a very fine line in terms of like playing a game and playing a game offline because you don't want to stream it because it's going to be bad. Yeah. Right. Like, it's going to be a bad 100%. Game to stream. So in terms of like favorite game offline, it's something grindy. It's something MMO-y most of the time. I'm a huge Final Fantasy 14 fan. I'm a huge WoW Classic fan right now.
Nice.
I've been playing Grim Dawn, which is another like action ARPG. Usually if I'm not streaming, it's a game that is not story based. And it's, something that I can put 2 or 3 hours into a night and get small goals accomplished and then kind of go to sleep. So as of late, that's been kind of WoW Classic, like I said, Grim Dawn and Final Fantasy 14. Favorite game to stream?
Yeah.
It really depends on, like, again, the variety streamer thing comes into this, where I'm playing so many different games almost every other week. I think, not an actual game, my favorite game to stream is one where I don't look at how long I've been streaming. which is kind of a cop-out answer. And I think that's kind of the golden dream, right? Of a streamer
exactly. Yes.
Is like, oh my God, I've been streaming for like 10 hours. I just started. This is crazy.
Yes.
But I'm trying to think, I guess like more recently, I really enjoyed Last of Us 2. That was a lot of fun to play. I'm really looking forward to Ghost of Tsushima, which comes out tonight/tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, like more recently, I put 160 hours into a game called Persona 5 Royale, which is like a JRPG type deal. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, wow.
That was the longest game I've ever streamed single player wise. It was 100, I think it was 35 or 36 days streamed.
Jeez.
It was real long. It was real long.
Did you like it though? Or was it like,
oh yeah, it was fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It is it's one of those games where like content, you don't think that they can make a game that's single player focused that is that long, but somehow it exists in some weird way.
You said Persona Royale?
Yeah, Persona 5 Royale. It's a JRPG basically. Which is it's an oddity for sure.
No, I love that. It's the beauty of being a variety streamer. You play like whatever fringe game you want. Like
pretty much, yeah. Well, fringe game, but not fringe enough to be unknown because then no one's going to watch, right? So,
yes, yeah.
It's that variety streamers. I always like to say variety streamers want to be single game streamers, and single game streamers want to be variety streamers, right?
So
like,
bad.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be on the other side because you see the issues of your current predicament for sure.
Oh my gosh. I feel like, I don't know, I still hold that variety streamers, if you can establish yourself as a variety streamer with a decent following, I feel like you have more longevity. I think that you are so tied to a game when you're a single game streamer that your career could take a blow, and you could take a blow mentally, kind of like we were saying before, when those numbers dip, when that game is no longer popular.
Yeah, you got to
Fortnite.
switch.
Yeah, Fortnite is a perfect example of that, right? And I think the secret amongst all the variety streamers when Fortnite was blowing up was like, all right, this is blowing up, but it's eventually going to start crumbling down, right? Like this game's it can only go so high until it starts to dip.
Yeah, I mean, it went really high.
It went high. It went real high. Like it is in some cases like it has not bottomed out, right?
Yeah,
like it still does incredibly well for the right people for sure. But yeah, you're not far off base. Like variety streamers can exist as long as they have an audience willing to watch them, and you can kind of play anything once you get established. I think someone like Dan's Gaming is a perfect example of that, and Co Carnage as well, both pretty good friends of mine that they can fire up. Dan can be playing Skyrim tomorrow if he wanted, and he'd have 4,000 to 5,000 people there just hanging out. So.
Oh, God, the freaking dream.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nail. I think the whole like one game variety streamer thing is exactly right, because you do look at guys like, and Co is one of Co's a guy I've been watching for like since I started watching Twitch, and just his ability to like, I don't know, his planning is pretty incredible. I think
he's very really data-driven person.
Very data-driven, very well planned. I know he has a lot of like his own proprietary stuff that helps him do what he does, and that is kind of like that just plays. He's built the whole thing around being a variety streamer. It's not like hey, I'm gonna play this, I think today. Like that doesn't work as well.
Right.
And there's only one Soda, right? Soda's like, I'm making this up in the moment at all times for the most part, and he's just him. But like, there's that's rare. That's really really rare. Or Lyric, like very similar. Totally. I think that like those guys you just named, like and Giant Waffle, like the Nerd Fusion guys, honestly, they do a great job of being really really organized and playing things that they really enjoy and like learning the game with you. So whenever, for example, when Co's playing something that's maybe newer or maybe has a little bit more fanfare coming out, he's like the guy I go check out to watch play because of the way his stream is. He's like, oh, I could try this and try this and try this, and this is how we're building through this game, so that if I wanted to buy the game, I have somewhere to like. I'm like watching a tutorial at the same time as he's kind of coming up with it. Like I don't have to go do it later. Like I wish Honestly, I wish I would have watched him play Tarkov for the first time and him learn it, because I probably would have learned a lot effing faster.
He tried to drag me down that pit, but I have not purchased Tarkov.
Okay.
I know what my rage would do to that game. I know it's not a good mix, so I have not touched it yet.
The highs are high and the lows are low.
That's what I've heard.
That's great.
Gosh. Get that kill, you're on top of the world. I'm sorry.
So Persona 5 was the game.
More recently,
the Creed content. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I haven't watched it much. Maybe I'll give it a shot.
It's really, I'll be honest, it's real weeby. If you're not into,
Real
and
weeby.
I'm not even like a big
Very
anime guy. I don't watch anime, but Persona 5 is like anime adjacent for sure.
It's an anime game. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
One of those.
One anime game.
Well, behind that.
It is time, Trevor.
All right. You excited? Because it's you again. You're the better one. Who are we kidding?
I don't know about that. I feel like you could really nail this. It's ad read time, baby.
All right, do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, reopening is right around the corner. In some cases, maybe it's postponed, but we won't get into that. But the chances are no one's seen your balls in a couple months. Don't ruin that first post-quarantine date with a ball fro. Manscaped is here to provide you with the best tools for your grooming experience. Lawnmower 3.0 has the best hygiene tool for the modern gentleman. Because of their ceramic blades and skin-safe technology, your snags will be reduced while preparing yourself for your post-quarantine life. Manscaped is forever changing the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0 essential kits. Comes with a new and improved Lawnmower 3.0, water-resistant cordless body trimmer, performance boxer briefs, a travel bag for you to use when you're done quarantining. Perfect Package 3.0 also comes with a crop preserver and crop reviver. Crop preserver is an anti-chafing ball deodorant, which ensures that your afternoon stroll doesn't end with your balls sticking slap dab to your leg. The crop preserver is a spray-on toner for your balls. It's made with soothing aloe, witch hazel extract to give your balls a little bit of a boost. Subscribers to the Peak Hygiene Plan get a new replacement blade refill for your lawnmower trimmer delivered to your door every 3 months, making sure your trimmer stays fresh and clean. The light is at the end of the tunnel, fellas, depending on which state you're in. Treat yourself for making it through quarantine with the Lawnmower 3.0. Get 20% off your order and free shipping. And use code MCA at manscaped.com. That's 20% off your order and free shipping at manscaped.com with code MCA. Your first date and your nutsack will thank you.
It's 20% off your order, by the way, not your odor. Your order. Thank you.
I mean,
want to make that amendment.
I don't know. I mean, if you get it, 20% reduction, but it doesn't matter. Your order.
It's great. Seriously, use it. It's great. Lupo's not here, so we can talk all about Manscaped.
No Gillette.
Does Lupo have a conflicting sponsor?
So, well, okay. Yeah. Lupo's got Gillette.
Okay.
I accidentally may have open mic did a sponsored stream for Manscaped on his stream.
Gotcha.
In Discord.
Nice.
Trevor doesn't know how to mute himself or unmute himself for them.
Well, I deafened myself, but I did not mute myself, which is a weird thing. Might be the only time I've ever done it.
Just like in a world where one company owns every company, who's behind Manscaped? I figured that was a Procter and Gamble thing, like a Gillette thing. Is it not?
I like to think that Walt Disney's behind Manscaped.
I feel like because their advertising feels very like startup.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah, it might be going for that.
I honestly do not know, though. I think it's newer. It's new. I know it's only been around for a couple of years, and I do need to be very, very clear. The trimmer's phenomenal. Like, it really is. Like, they're all the really you cannot cut yourself. It's literally impossible.
Of course, they're our sponsor, so we can't be disparaging. But in all reality, it's a freaking good trimmer.
Yeah,
it does a good job. Yeah, you cannot nick yourself. I mean, if you're really trying,
tough.
Not gonna happen.
I mean, I was going to Walgreens every like 2 months and just buying a new one because I either lost the charger or I don't know, something broke, or one of the teeth on the little metal. I don't know, something broke.
Yeah.
Because I travel constantly and the suitcase is being jostled around and it's breaking. And now, like, I feel like I found my my mainstay. So
proud of you.
Excited. Anyway, We're moving on from the ball shaver ad. But we're going into our game. We play a game here on the show.
Game time!
And after hearing JP's story up to this point, Paul is going to get absolutely shit on, probably. Sorry.
Nope. I win all the time.
This is obscure gaming trivia.
Oh,
okay.
All right, damn it. Yeah, he actually might win.
And I don't want to say it's a super obscure, but it's like it's not. There's the range of years of video gaming we're talking about, stretching all the way back to the 90s till now. So, it could be a lot of different things. So it's 9 questions.
Was born in the 70s, right? So that was perfect for us.
Yes.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Yeah. See?
All right.
Exactly. That's why you're going to lose. So we have 9 questions. There's a couple multiple choice, a couple true or false, and a couple just answer the question. And we're going to start.
I'm nervous.
And basically, JP, you will go first.
Okay.
We'll give you we always give the guests the first ability to answer, and it's just one point per question. So who gets the most right? Basically, it's pretty easy, pretty simple.
Yeah.
And we'll just make like we always do. Last question's worth 3, just in case there's a comeback opportunity. All right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Question number 1.
Here we go.
What country is the NES game Contra set in?
What?
There's no way Paul's gonna know this.
What country?
What country is the? It's a weird one, so that's why this is a question.
I'm gonna. Okay, I guess I have my answer. Do we wait for both answers to be ready, or how's this work?
That would be yes. We can do that. Paul,
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. JP.
I'm gonna go with Brazil.
Okay. I'm gonna go with India.
You are both incorrect. It is obviously Nicaragua. How did you not know?
Oh my gosh.
That
Nicaragua?
Contra is literally 2 best friends saving Nicaragua from aliens. How did you guys not know that?
Only Nicaragua that couldn't save everyone else?
I mean, I was close-ish.
Just you were really close. That was actually crazy. You were really close. But just for fun, one time, check out the Wikipedia on Contra, and it explains like the plot. And you're like, who came up with this?
Yeah. Oh man, man.
I love Contra. Contra.
Broken controllers over that game as a kid with me and my bro.
Dude, I had all the different scenes. Like you're playing like 2D, like top down, and then you're playing like a platformer for a while.
Revolutionary.
It was. It really, really was.
Yeah.
All right. So 0-0. Hopefully, didn't make this too hard.
Oh boy.
Question number 2.
Okay.
This country had a ban on cultural imports from Japan until 2004, having to distribute the NES under the name Comboy. What country was this?
Okay, I got my answer. I think I know this.
Convoy. Until 2004, you said?
Yes.
Okay, I have my answer as well.
JP.
I'm going to say, go ahead.
I'm gonna go with China.
Damn it. Can I have the same? I was also going to go with China.
You're both incorrect again. It is obviously South Korea.
Oh, it's getting
Really?
No!
Yes.
I thought it was either China or Poland.
Oh, I thought that was
So-
my backup.
So the ban is from World War II all the way through the Korean War. Korea
that
did not like Japan very much.
Yeah,
They
that
still
makes
don't. And actually Hyundai was the one that distributed it. And it was called the Hyundai Comboy, but it was just an NES. So that's how they got around it.
Cars instead.
They just rebranded it, and they let their big companies trade with them, obviously, but they not publicly. They wouldn't publicly let them do it. So of course, that was an interesting little tidbit of something I ran across. Was like, that needs to be a question. All right, this one might be a little bit easier.
Okay.
Okay.
Because we want points to be earned at some point. Yeah. Question 3.
It's a soccer trivia game.
The Assassin's Creed series of games began as a spin-off of what other popular game?
Okay, I got my answer.
It's a damn spin-off? All right, I have mine as well.
JP?
I'm gonna go with Prince of Persia.
Holy frick. God, that's a great answer. I'm going to say Half-Life.
It was indeed Prince of Persia.
Shit!
Very nice. And now that you think about it, you're like, wait, those are very similar.
Makes sense. Holy frick, I missed that was my favorite game.
Yeah, so the
Maybe we should start saying them at the same time, but so that we're not like. Let's say them at the same time next time.
Yeah, just say them at the same time. I'll just count down when you both have them. Yeah. So it was going to be called Prince of Persia Assassins, and then they just decided to scrap that story and make it more of a. For whatever reason.
Wasn't the other trivia about that game that it started as like some boss had a kid that was like interested in that part of Prince of Persia, so he made that or something like that?
That's kind of how it started. So he's like, you should make a Prince of Persia game, and they were gonna make it, and then they're like, oh wait, that's too much like Prince of Persia, like what they came up with, and so they just made a new hero. So then they just built the whole story around the hero, and then that's the guy you play the whole time. So and I haven't played one of those in a long time, but that makes sense to me. Cool. 1-0 JP. Now we're going into 2 multiple choice because there's kind of a lot of answers it could be. Kind of a general question, so I want to go multiple choice here. So question number 4: what iconic fighting game series has a fan fiction written about it that is almost twice the word count of the longest published novel in history?
You're gonna have to say that one more time.
Let me contextually give it to you. The longest novel in history is 2 million words. It's been published. It's one of those. It's like a philosophical. It's one of those.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, it's in that realm. And this fan fiction is twice as long.
Okay.
If you take all of the stories together, it's 220 chapters.
So, what am I answering for again?
So it's an iconic fighting game that it's based on. So I'm gonna give you 4 answers, and you can pick which one. So is it Street Fighter? Mm-hmm. Is it Mortal Kombat? Is it Super Smash Bros? Or is it Killer Instinct? A, B, C, or D?
I'm gonna sit on A on that one.
I'm gonna go C.
So we have A, Street Fighter for Paul, and C, Super Smash Bros. JP.
Tied up.
JP is correct. Paul is wrong. 2-0. Super Smash Brothers has 220 chapter fan fiction written about it.
And someone's got to get their Bowsette jellies on, man.
Oh, it's crazy. And, there's like how many characters is there now in Ultimate? Like 70. So that completely makes sense. Like, you got to write a whole story for each character.
Holy fair, dude. JP's been around forever. Damn it.
All right. Question number 5. Another multiple choice.
Okay.
This is actually fairly commonly known, so hopefully someone knows it.
Yeah, we'll see, bud. We'll see.
What late night show host, night show, like a talk show,
I already know the answer.
As a cameo as a dock worker in Halo 4?
I don't know the answer now.
Is it
a dock worker in Halo 4?
Basically, they have a cameo with where the voice lines for in the campaign, the dock workers stand next to them and they do it.
All right, I know the answer then.
All right.
A, Jimmy Fallon. B, Conan O'Brien. C, Jimmy Kimmel. Or D, David Letterman.
All right.
I'm gonna say C.
Okay.
Whichever, I think you said B was Conan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with B.
It is B, Conan O'Brien. 3-0.
Me, dude. Oh my God, we're getting destroyed.
You indeed, yes, you are.
I thought you were going to say that Conan O'Brien was in the popular video game Death Stranding, or that he has the show about video games that I can't remember the name for right now.
Yeah, so Conan O'Brien loves to be in video games, and actually, oh crap, what's his? Andy Richter's in it too.
Andy Richter.
He's the other dock worker. So they're like sitting there talking to each other, and if you stand there long enough, it takes a couple of minutes. They just start having their conversation, which is
I didn't know he was in Halo. That's
pretty cool. So I guess it was for a segment for the show, and then they actually put it in the game. Which is pretty cool. All right, now we're on true and false, so it's getting even easier to score a point, Paul.
Come on, here we go.
50-50.
True or false? It is only humanly possible to press a button on a controller 16 times per second.
I'm going to go with false.
I'm going to go with false as well.
It is true.
What?
Really?
16 is the world record for most times a button's been pushed.
Huh,
In a
okay.
second?
By a Japanese gentleman that I cannot pronounce his name, and I'm not even going to try.
Yeah. I think I've seen that, but I thought it was faster than that.
Yeah, 16. Turns out to be 16. World record. Guinness.
Thanks.
Who knew?
Guinness.
3-0. It's looking bleak for Paul ActionJaxon. Another true and false. At the end of the game, Civilization 4, players are rated based on their performance by a comparison to one of 10 world leaders. The lowest rating compares the player to the former U.S. Vice President Al Gore, who is legendary for such wisdom as, if we do not succeed, then we run the risk of failure.
This was so specific.
So,
Yeah, that was kind of specific.
to be very specific, Civilization 4 gives you a rating at the end of the game. The worst rating you can get is U.S. Vice President Al Gore. True or false?
I'm going to say false.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's worse leaders than out. I'm going to go false as well.
You're both correct. It is false. It's obviously U.S. Vice President Dan Quayle. He's an idiot.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
Wait, so what about like, what's the classification again? Is it world leaders?
Yeah, it's world leaders and getting
How
basically.
is Hitler not at the bottom of that?
Exactly. That's what
Like, what is he?
I think that Hitler's a really big, touchy subject for video games in general. Yeah,
Sure.
I think
Okay.
not many people like to touch it except for Wolfenstein. I think that's nobody else really touches that.
I guess
that,
they lose most of Germany. So.
And in reality, when they were probably making the Sid probably hates him or something. You know what I mean? Like it's probably just a funny joke he put in.
It seems
Dan
like a
Quayle's an
personal
idiot.
jab. Yeah.
Can't wait to put him in my game, Dan.
Mussolini,
Well,
Gaddafi,
yeah.
Kim Jong-il. And none of those?
I'm sure. I don't even know what the other 9 are, so that'd be interesting to look up. All right, 4-1. Paul
on the
board. Nice. All right. This question, now that I'm in hindsight, this is very. One of you has a much better chance of getting this right than the other one. What was the first PC game to physically make it into space, like CD-ROM?
Oh.
And I have a hint too, if you need it.
Is the hint what year it was?
No, it's even an easier hint.
Oh. I mean, I don't actually.
Oh, well, it was 1999. 1999 was the year.
Okay. Right. I mean, I'm ready for a hint.
You want the hint? All right.
Yeah, I think
Blizzard.
What'd you say?
Really?
Blizzard.
1999.
Okay. I mean,
Narrows it down. quite a bit.
you gave me an extra hint by your words before, and also I know that the game came out at this year originally, I think. So I have an answer.
All right.
I'm going to say probably wrong answer of Warcraft 3.
I'm gonna go with StarCraft 1. StarCraft Brood War. Sorry.
It was the original StarCraft.
Oh,
Son
so that's I,
of a
don't, I
monkey's
classified
uncle.
to the wrong one, but
I am just
5-1.
okay, I got the point.
So
I got
you
the
got
point.
the point. It's just the obvious one. What would you take to space? StarCraft.
Yeah.
And Warcraft 3 wasn't out yet in 1999. Stupid. All right.
Shut up, Trevor. I'm falling apart.
You kind of
pretty
gave it
sure.
away to me when you said that I have a better chance of knowing this, or I have a pretty
Yeah.
good chance.
Thanks, idiot.
Yeah, well, I mean, you heard him say what he said earlier too, Paul. I thought you might be able to connect it. Okay.
You don't
Kind of a
pay
hint to
attention
you.
to this podcast. Damn it.
All right, last question. Paul actually can't catch up, and JP won exactly like I thought he would.
Make the last question worth 10 points.
This question's worth 5.
No.
True or false? There have been over 1,000 gaming consoles released in history of games.
that has got to be true. I feel like half of them came from Japan alone.
I'm gonna go with false. That's a lot of game consoles.
Come on.
It is indeed false.
Oh!
There's been 960.
I did not mean to hit that button. I am not excited. Damn it.
thought that'd be much really 960.
960, and I think that over 650 of them are Japanese. So it's just like a bunch of it's including little handheld one game things and all the leapfrog things that the kids can play on and all of them. So
I can see that. That makes sense.
Yeah. So they're coming out with
staggering amount. Yeah.
One of these lists was I was like, what are these things? So this thing had 3 games made for it. You're like, what?
Right. Just to be sure, it's less than 1,000.
It's less than 1,000. That's why it's false. Get juked. And you didn't even know Dan Quayle was Sid Meier's arch nemesis. You didn't even know.
Look, it's not fair. I can't go against JP's like a sage. There's no way I'm going to get that.
Yeah, you just got to be 10-1.
This.
That's the biggest separation. Anyway, that is our game for the week. I like that one.
Yeah,
that sucked.
I've never had my video game knowledge tested before. That was good.
You know a lot.
I'm glad JP feels alive. I'm over here just off.
All right.
Never lost so badly before in my life. Anyway, gosh darn it. Who are we watching lately? Trevor?
Yep, that's it.
Roger that. I freaking love it. All right, so this is our basically our last segment, JP, but it's a chance for us to kind of give a little shout out to someone that we've been watching or someone that we enjoy. Recently, someone we have on the quote side monitor while we're doing work or just dicking around, whatever.
Sure.
So I'm going to start off here and give you some time to think about it if you haven't already. Mine is same as last week. It is Red Vactor because I'm doubling down on Red Vactor. Check him out. By the time anyone listens to this podcast or watches it on YouTube, the finale of the show will be over, but I don't care because I think he's great. So check out Red Vactor, twitch.tv/REDVACKTOR. Started off doing a lot of Minecraft, has just kind of broken into the Twitch scene. He's got some buds he does games with, Purple Vactor and Pink Vactor and Green Vactor.
They're like Power Rangers.
Yeah, they're like Power Rangers of Minecraft. And he's just a super, super positive guy. Does not let anything get him down. I watch him actively go through what Trevor goes through seemingly every day, his GoXLR breaking down. And I tell you, that guy had the most positive attitude during that, and I would have thrown it through a window. And he was just like, oh, looks like I have to update the firmware. Oh, okay, no problem. Oh, I have to just reroute that. Totally fine. Silly me. He's just like, wow, this guy cannot be phased. It wasn't that dramatic, but anyway, Red Vactor, super awesome guy. Recently been playing a lot of Apex Legends and just kind of getting into the Twitch scene. So check him out, twitch.tv/Red Vactor and on Twitter @Red Vactor, VACKTOR.
So the finale's tonight then?
The finale is tonight. It is in about
right after the show.
3 hours, yeah.
Well, boy, howdy. We got to get you up there because points are scored for subs and rating views. And how do you score? Just subs?
They score it for the challenges during the show.
Okay.
By the way, JP, I'm doing a show. It's like The Voice, except for streamers, and I'm one of the coaches.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
With Tucker and
yeah. Tucker's the host.
Okay. Yeah.
Ammunition is a coach. Yeah, and Goldie. So yeah, that's tonight, and yeah, you get points for the playing the game, for an IRL challenge during the show, and then also subs. But subs are like 5 times the points, obviously, because they want subs. So yeah.
Which it turns out JP was one of the pioneers of the subscription. So it all comes around.
I love that they went to you.
Yes to it. It wasn't the pioneers. All right.
Well, thank you for voting correctly.
Hey, JP, what are your thoughts on viewers? Except instead of viewers, they're viewers, but they pay you. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it was an easy thing to say.
Yeah.
I'm
okay with that.
Correct things. Yeah.
I don't know. It's gonna ruin everything.
Wait, and you mean non-subs can still watch the stream all the same? Yeah. Yes, that sounds great. Let's do that.
Emotes? Yeah, cool. Emotes. Get my own emotes. Sweet. Let's do it.
True.
All right, my recommendation for the week. And I've been thinking about maybe playing just a little bit of Warzone with some buds.
Oh, boy.
Everyone plays it. I would like to play with
Fine, Trevor.
Once in a while. But he is a co-champion of one of the many tournaments that are in that damn game right now. I can't even remember what it was called. But Doug is raw, and Symphony and I all won a tournament. They needed an athlete, and I just chased him around for 3 hours. And that was awesome. But Doug is Raw is a guy I had not watched his stream before Warzone came out. He's an insanely competitive dude, insanely good at shot calling. I don't know if he's played professionally before, but it's like it's really impressive. Like he's really, really, really good at the game. So if you're looking for someone, outside of the big boys, he is usually the one dropping 30 kills on each of those big boys team. So Doug is Raw on Twitch. He's a good dude. We had a lot of fun. He took me under his wing. It was a lot of fun to play with, and I just thought I'd give him some love. Watching a little bit lately. So
Doug is Raw.
Doug is
Thanks,
Raw.
Trev. Love that.
Nice.
JP, what do you got, man? We've been watching.
Trying to think of, I kind of watch a lot of the bigger folks for sure.
Oh yeah.
We've been we've had DJ Knight on our shows recently. He's been a new face on a lot of our shows. He's a good guy. If you haven't checked him out before,
Yeah, he's great.
I guess I don't know if she necessarily needs. I'm trying to think like if I would classify her as a big streamer. Streamer by the name of Little Siha. She does a lot of charity stuff.
Cool.
She's also her main game is Just Dance.
What?
That is her main game.
Main game. How do you spell her name as well?
Little, just as you would spell it, and then Siha.
Siha. Perfect.
Yeah, she raised like some absurd amount of money. She's one of those streamers where you're like, wait a minute, they raised how much money for charity? Like,
yeah,
we're talking like 100,000, maybe 200,000 or something like that this year.
Holy crap, that's freaking wild.
Yeah, so she kind of like leads the Just Dance section on Twitch, which is just, it's one of those things where you're like, one, how does someone stream Just Dance as their main game? And two, how did they raise that much money streaming Just Dance? So yeah, check her out. Those questions will start to be answered.
Imagine being so in shape from streaming Just Dance every day.
Yeah. It's mostly jealousy for me. It's like if I could actually get out there and dance for more than 30 minutes and not want to die afterwards, right? Like
needed a direct IV after.
Yeah. I'm looking for a Whataburger, not how to dance. Right?
Oh, Just Dance. I gave it a minute.
You gave it a minute? Did I would pay
I never played. No.
dollars to see you.
Do you know what actually do you know why my Just Dance dream fell apart? It's because where I was living at the time when I got my Kinect, there wasn't enough. I was too big to fit on the Kinect. Like it wasn't like reading my arm. My arms kept going off the frame.
Makes sense.
And so they're like, yo, dude, you're just bad at dancing. I'm like, no, I'm good. You just can't see all of me.
That's a tall person problem. I get it. I understand it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Did you guys ever play, speaking of dance games, did you guys ever play DDR back in the day?
Of course.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean,
Scene in Grandma's Boy is my favorite scene in a movie.
The high score. Is that bad? Did I break it? Is that bad?
That was, yeah. DDR's, if I wasn't playing WoW or Quake, I was at the arcade playing DDR.
I love it.
My parents would never take me to the arcade, so that was unfortunate. Never again.
My brother worked at a GameWorks, so I had an Infinity card. So
GameWorks?
Infinity card?
Yeah, man. It was an employee-only card, but it worked at all times, all hours. I could just walk in and play forever.
Did you just raise it to the sky and it would like blind everyone in a 10-foot radius? Like that's amazing.
So he wasn't supposed to give them out, and we actually had to start like covering the thing that you're supposed to like slide the card in because it just says Infinity on it, and so we had to cover it up so that people didn't know that I had like a special card.
Oh my god,
it's a hell of a thing.
That's so sick.
Oh, now it's all coming together. You know what I mean? Like you love for video games. Yeah, well, I could play video games forever.
Oh my god, it was great going in there and stepping up to the Marvel vs. Capcom 2, get my ass beat by some guy, and then come back 5 minutes later because he had to leave because I had to charge him more money, and then I just kept beating the PC over and over. Felt like a goddamn king.
It's my machine.
Our arcade was, my dad took us to a place called Nickel Palace.
Ooh.
And that had none of the new stuff, right? We weren't playing any Capcom games or anything. But you like pinball machines freaking everywhere, like air hockey, whatever, and everything was a nickel. So you get 20 plays for $1.
Yeah,
go over there. And of course, it was just a rundown little like machine shithole, but it was awesome. It was one of my. I remember just having a huge bag of nickels, so I could go freaking play pinball for 9 hours. My dad loved pinball, so that was our thing. And now we have a place by where I live in Seattle that's a drinking bar, and they have one of those barcade, those old school DDR machines. When we were playing that before we came down here.
I spent a lot of money chasing the DDR dream. At one point, I was going to buy the full-on machine and like keep it here in our basement.
No way.
But shipping became an issue, and I didn't want to deal with it. So
like 4 tons. It's like
they're huge. They're stupid. So luckily enough, I found I think it's Poland is where they come from. Someone apparently Poland is or DDR is like huge in Poland. It's like that's where the DDR World Championships are held. I'm not making this up. And there's a guy there that makes like arcade style DDR pads. And he ships them worldwide. So I bought one of those like 2 years ago, and it still works. I still play almost once a month or so, depending on how active I want to be.
That's awesome.
You still plug it in and play it. God, that's awesome.
Yeah, it works on the PC. There's like it's called Step Mania, and so it essentially just has like every song ever released for DDR.
Oh, it's like an emulator.
Yeah, it's an emulator basically. It has like anime remixes and crap on it too if you want it. So,
I kind of say how much I've enjoyed this Boomer podcast we've had. This has been great.
Boomer Talk's fun every once in a while.
Oh, it is.
My gosh. No one's coming in here talking about how they want to push their TikTok. Get out of here. Get out of here.
I don't even have a TikTok account, man.
Well, evidently
it's China that information.
Yeah, yep. Evidently we got to delete them because they don't got it from Facebook or Wikipedia or whatever.
I
guess my social security numbers aren't on those things. So, who are we talking? Oh, is it Siegel? We were talking about like America's Army Online. I don't know if you ever played that, but that's a throwback.
Yeah. Well, Army's in some trouble on Twitch recently. I don't know if you caught all that stuff today, but yeah.
Oh, something happened today? I can't keep up.
No, they're being like, they're using Call of Duty to like
recruit people.
Yeah. Which is, and I think Twitch said like stop. I think was the news today. They said like don't do this anymore.
Just stop it.
Yeah. It got very blatant, like really blatant.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, hilariously, I don't know if you guys have. I'm realizing more and more every week how big of a nerd I've been my entire life.
Sure.
Always thought I was a jock. No, that's not true. The book World War Z. I don't know if anyone's read it or if you've seen the terrible movie with Brad Pitt.
Seen the terrible movie.
Great book. The guy who wrote it is actually Mel Brooks, who did like Blazing Saddles, and his son Max wrote it. So it's really good, really great book. But in the book, they talk about how the premise of it's not the movie. The movie is the dramatized, like it's happening in real life, but in reality, the other one is like it's a guy. He's writing. Brad Pitt's character is writing a report on the zombies coming back, and then how like the world's armed forces changed to fight it, which is super cool. And then it's a bunch of first person accounts he gets from people who lived afterwards of how their experience happened and how it spread. Insanely good book. But one of the things he talks about is how big the armed forces were when the breakout happened because of Americans Army Online, which was at the time I was playing the game. And he's like, so the Army sponsored a game called Americans Army Online to recruit kids in this age group. And I'm like thinking back, I'm like, wait, all my friends are in the Army.
Holy crap.
Oh my God, it worked.
It worked.
If there were zombies, we could fight them really well because there's so many of us.
Sure.
And it was just like, it was the weirdest like realization moment. Anyway, I don't know how we got there, but it was just him saying it was a propaganda tool to get people to join the Army. And then I realized that the 4 guys I played it with all joined an armed forces.
Yeah, I mean, it did. The game was actually quite good. I'm sure Siegel was saying the same thing, but I always remember trying to play that game and there was just hackers everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it was like Tarkov PTK, right? You get shot one time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and people just have like no walls and
And taking the physical test to become a medic was just hilarious to me.
I remember that. Yeah.
But
Before
couldn't heal if you didn't do it.
I went to Twitter just to see what was up on the whole army thing, but I didn't see that. However, before you do the outro, Trevor, I just want to point out, apparently Henry Cavill built a PC live and everyone loved it.
Yep.
Everyone loved good for him building a PC in a muscle shirt, by the way. The dude
fuck that guy. He's too attractive. That guy's
he's Superman, guys. Yeah. He's Superman.
He has to get out of the gaming world. It's gonna make us all look bad.
Dude, if he starts streaming, it's over. There's nothing that we can do.
Oh, I know. My fiance was already saying like, we didn't get him on Twitch. It's like, please don't.
I don't want to be responsible for that.
I'm just gonna real quick show the stream right now because I feel like we need to see this. Look at the arm on that man.
It's absurd.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if I forgot what tweet it was a response to. It might have been like the PC Gamer tweet that was talking about it, but someone's posted like here are Henry Cavill's friends, and it's like 3 of the buffest guys that are just sitting at a computer with like no clothing on whatsoever playing World of Warcraft. It is so funny. It's making me laugh so bad. It is just great.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's man.
I would take
that guy.
He's great.
It is, man. That's the genetic lottery right there. Is essentially what you're looking at.
I don't think that he's got to have like a weird toe. There's got to be something wrong with this guy.
Weird about 100%.
Got to be something weird.
Yeah.
I prefer to think he's just dumb as hell. That's what I prefer to think. But I doubt it. He just put together a piece.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe. Who knows?
Though he did almost put the CPU in wrong. I watched it.
I did. Yeah. He also put the CPU, like the pre-made liquid cooler on wrong. He put it on backwards or whatever.
Okay.
Which is,
well, we've all been.
Honestly, those are the most common. Yeah. To be honest, I broke my first one. I broke my first motherboard by bending the pins because I literally was like, Shrek, put it in. And then I just like smashed it in there. And they're like, took it to Micro Center and they're like, yo, come on, dude. And I'm like,
I got lucky because the first time I ever built a PC, I was 13. And it's because my PC was like not working. So I just took it apart and was like, it's broken. So what's the worst I can do? Right. And that's how I learned how to build a PC, was like messing around with a already broken PC that then got fixed because I decided to adjust some fan or something. I don't even know if I actually fixed it or it just started working again. But
I like to think you fixed it.
I like to as well, but it probably wasn't the case.
Probably not.
Well,
sorry.
It's fine. That's what the podcast is for. That kind of concludes the show.
Love it.
But as we go into our outro, before we get into the outro, JP, do you have anything, any events, any merch, any special streams, birthdays, charity stuff, anything coming up in the near future that people should check out? Stay tuned for?
We just had Mike Shinoda on Drop Frames this past week. VOD's up for that on the YouTube at youtube.com/IamTrevorMay. We'll have Phil Spencer from Xbox on sometime in August. We haven't nailed down a date for that just yet, but we'll be talking to him about the new Xbox and who knows what else. And then I guess in the close-up streams, I'll be streaming some Ghost of Tsushima tomorrow. And looking forward to Microsoft Flight Sim. I want to chill the fuck out on stream and just fly some planes.
That'd be sounds pretty cool. Actually, just to expand on this, because I think that I forgot, I wanted to ask you something and I kind of skipped over it. Before you move on, just could you give us a quick synopsis? Drop Frames podcast, like kind of how long you've been doing it and what your guys' kind of format is, what you like to do in there. I've watched it a lot. I know, but a lot of you listeners maybe haven't.
Sure. Yeah. We started Drop Frames in 2015. I think it was January. We're on episode 240 and change, 247, something like that. It's kind of your weekly dose, not daily dose, of video games, streaming, and kind of everything there in between. We talk about most of the time the latest drama, if there is any, and then also kind of just break down what we've been playing. So if you want to watch any of that with myself, Ezekiel III, or Co-Carnage, and sometimes a guest, that's on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern.
Cool. Outstanding.
All right.
So, gonna have Henry Cavill on next. Very excited.
What do you got, Paul?
I'm sorry. He's going to have Henry Cavill on next. He said
I've already reached out to
after
WME to try to get Henry Cavill on.
Holy frick! Of course,
It's
You know what?
not
That's
gonna
how you
happen,
run
I
a
don't think.
podcast. As I'm
It's not going to happen. But I've tried.
it's not going to happen.
Hi, Henry. Trevor here. We have similar body types. Do you want to be on our podcast?
I expect Gary Whitta to have him on before we do. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but he's got Brie Larson on next week. How do you even compete with that?
What the?
You don't.
Yeah, he just can't.
Our podcast is in
Gary.
shambles, Trevor. Let's wrap it up.
Well, I mean, we're gonna Bree. When do you start full time streaming? She's like, I don't even like games. We're like, oh, well,
That's all the questions we had. I don't know.
well, then we don't know where to go from here. Thanks for being on here, my super famous person. We now have 2 ways to get on the pod. In addition to the review of the week, which you're about to hear, you can now hashtag AskMCA on Twitter. When we announce the next guest and your question may make it into the rotation of questions that we then ask that guest. So make sure you are you can just comment on that on the tweet, or you can just make your own tweet. Just make sure that hashtag AskMCA is in there. Before we go, the shout out to the review of the week comes from Lomax32. Said, I love listening to popular gamers. I think they're talking about us. Chop it up. Since Fortnite is not in my blood like it used to be, I've been looking for other content like this, and it's a phenomenal listen. Thank you so much. Thank you, Lomax. Appreciate that a lot.
Thanks, Lomax.
Please, if you're listening to the show, you enjoy, make sure you're subscribed on wherever it is you're listening, and you're leaving a 5-star review. That would be greatly appreciated. And to be honest, at this point, if you leave a review, there's a really, really good chance you're going to get on the show. So make sure that you're reviewing it, please, for the love of God. Also, follow us at the ItMeJP pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. JP, where can people find you on the social media?
Pretty much everything /ItMeJP. And if it's not there, then I don't use that platform, such as Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff. I'm a boomer. I don't know anything about that. I just stream games.
ItMeJP on every single platform. Paul?
You can find me at ActionJaxon on Twitter, ActionJaxon on Twitch, ActionJaxon BTW on Instagram, and youtube.com/ActionJaxon. That's ActionJaxon. And
right after the show, or later today, is your show, Chasing the Crown. So
Chasing the Crown, yeah, I'll be live in like an hour or so.
Hang out, and if you're watching this on YouTube tomorrow or listening on your way to work tomorrow morning, make sure that you Google who won. You will know that. All right. I am Trevor May on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok. I haven't made one in a long time, and I'm terrified of it now.
Gotta watch out.
I also have a second YouTube channel that is baseball related, some AMAs and some instructional stuff, and anything you might be interested in. More of that stuff's going to be coming now that the season's starting in the next few days. Trying to focus on that a little bit more. So that's just Trevor May Baseball. You can just type in Trevor May Baseball, and it's the first thing that comes up. And then I am Trev May 65 on Instagram because I refuse to change it. That is our show for the week. Thank you, JP. So we appreciate it so much for you coming on. It was a blast.
Thank you guys so much for the invite.
Of course. And we will see you next week with somebody really interesting, hopefully. Henry. All right, guys. Have a good day, and we'll see you next week.
Later.
Bye,
everyone.